Hey, welcome back. It's JWalter here. In today's housing market update, I want to make a follow-up video from my previous video that I made yesterday about why it's the worst time to buy a brand new house. But I want to share some stats regarding new home sales in the US because the US Census Bureau just announced January 2022 new home sales in the US. So let's go ahead and dive right into this video. And also, if you get any value out of this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button and also consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. I post frequent housing market updates, so hope you guys appreciate these. In any case, this is according to the US Census Bureau. They just announced this on February 24th. This is for new residential sales for January 2022. And a quick reminder, the US Census Bureau defines a new home sale as when a builder accepts a deposit or when a sales agreement is signed. So more or less, this acts like a pending home sale because when they accept a deposit and they sign a sales agreement, then the builder will start building the house if it's a dirt lot, and then the house would sell or close escrow months down the road. So some of these new home sales may not actually become sales because buyers fall out every once in a while. And also, by the way, a new home sale can occur prior to a permit being issued. That is very common in my neck of the woods, which is Sacramento. A lot of the new home builders don't have any houses available for sale that are brand new. Rather, they have dirt lots. They accept an offer from a home buyer and they sign a deposit, and then they build a house 4 to 6 months later, or 4 to 12 months later, I should say. So in any case, a new home sale can occur during any point of the process before permits are issued, when they issue permits, even before they begin construction of houses. So it makes it a little bit challenging to have a look at this data here, but I'm going to help you guys as much as I can here. In any case, this is houses sold and for sale. These are in thousands of units. So 801, that's 801,000. And these are seasonally adjusted annual rates here. So let's first have a look at the number of home sales, and then I'm going to take a deep dive into housing inventory and some common myths that I'm personally seeing right now. So I want to make sure you guys are aware of all this. So anyways, have a look at this. So by the way, this is for the US as a whole. So the number of new home sales, which again is more like a pending home sale, reached 801. So that's 801,000 was the annual pace in January 2022. When you have a look at compared to 1 month ago, we're down 4.5%. Compared to 1 year ago, we're down 19.3%. However, look at this though, because December we had 839,000, but before that we had the current pace right now of 801. Our levels we had not seen since December, obviously, but before that would be in March. So, and during any period or any month really from April to November, we're at lower pace of home sales. So right now we're at elevated levels compared to last spring and also compared to last summer as well. What I also found very interesting too is that they break it down by 4 major regions in the US. So the Northeast, we're down 46% compared to a year ago, 37% in the Midwest. The South is down 24%, but look at the West. They're the only region that recorded a increase of home sales compared to 1 month ago and also compared to 12 months ago. One thing I want to bring to your attention was this article here. This is from the Mortgage News Daily. A really great website if you want to see daily rates for mortgage rates. They have a great website for that. So if you want to Google Mortgage News Daily, have a look at mortgage rates. I share their figures here on the channel all the time. Anyways, new home sales rose to decreased to an annual pace of 801,000. But have a look at this because they say that new home sales are at very strong levels relative to the past 15 years. Only last month and the initial post-pandemic surge saw anything better. So here's a really good graphic here on their website. The orange line here, let's ignore for now. We'll get back to that later. But let's have a look at new home sales. This is in blue here. So you can see here, 801,000 is the annual rate we have right now. Obviously, we dipped in around 2021. And also we had a big increase in 2020. And also here, right here is basically when we had the stay home orders. New home sales and existing home sales absolutely tanked, but they shot up greatly. So compared to right after COVID hit, look at the last time we had over 800,000 houses. Back then was all the way going back to around 2008. So if we exclude 2020 and for much of 2021, at least the early parts, we're at very elevated levels historically speaking. So just want to bring that to you guys' attention. We'll have to see if the pace increases or if it continues to decrease. I want to share some stats regarding housing inventory here. So have a look at this though. So here's something I want to bring to your attention because this is going to be very confusing when looking at this graphic here. And by the way, too, I'll try to provide a link to this report as well so you can kind of follow along as well. In any case, look at the number of houses for sale. So for sale at the end of the period. So this is basically the number of houses for sale, which is of course housing inventory. But these numbers can be a little bit skewed here. So have a look at this. So we look at the United States as a whole. In January 2022, we had 406,000 of new houses available for sale in the US. That's an increase of 3% from 1 month ago, but have a look at that. Compared to 1 year ago, the number of houses for sale of new houses increased by 34%. So right now it's 406. In January last year was 302. So the number of houses for sale right now at the annual pace is the highest pace we've had in at least the last 12 months. So any month here, we're less than 400. Now we're at 406. And because housing supply technically has been increasing, the month supply has also been increasing. So right now we're at 6.1 months, which means at the current sales pace for January, for all the houses that were listed for sale for new houses in the US, then all of them would be sold in 6.1 months. However, a lot of these are houses that when the builder has pulled permits, but they have not started construction yet. So when you see this number here, you're thinking, okay, well, 6.1 months. I always tell everyone that a balanced real estate market is in the range of 4 to 6 months. So that would imply a balanced real estate market that where the builders nor the home buyers have an advantage over the other. But that's really not the case, even though we have a 69% increase compared to 1 year ago. I mean, look at 1 year ago, we had 3.6 months. And the Mortgage News Daily actually touched on this. They said the month supply is at a puzzling high 6.1 months. As you might expect, there aren't actually 6.1 months of new homes on the market, at least that not could be easily sold right now. Key terminology there. Those homes are technically in the pipeline, but for a record number of them, construction has not yet begun. That's because the US Census Bureau includes these numbers in their figures. These are housing units authorized, meaning that builders have gotten authorization to start building houses, but they have not started construction of those houses. That has increased 37% compared to 1 year ago for total housing units, and also for single family houses has increased by 32.5%. As the nation as a whole for 1 to 5 units or more, the levels right now are 280,000. We haven't seen those numbers that high in at least 12 months. Also for single family houses, we have 151,000 single family houses where they have permits that are authorized, but the builder has opted not to start construction. Besides October, those are numbers we have not seen in at least the last 12 months. So the amount of houses that are being authorized, but construction has not yet started, has been increasing greatly. However, the US Census Bureau includes these figures in their housing supply numbers as well. So going back to this report from the US Census Bureau, a month supply of 6.1 is really hard to gauge really what's going on in the housing market because that 6.1 months includes builders where they're not even starting construction. So a better way to look at this, in my opinion, is to have a look at this. Here's the median months for sale, and the 2 here means median number of months for sale since completion. So this is the months for sale for houses that are actually completed. So this is a really good data point that I'm really looking at, because if this months for sale or supply of houses increases greatly for houses that are actually completed, that is a sign that home buyer demand is decreasing. So if you imagine that home builders build a house, if that house is brand new and they don't have a home buyer and it just sits on the market, then that could imply that home buyer demand is decreasing. So in my opinion, it's much, much better to have a look at the month supply of houses for sale since completion, because look at this, because we're at 2.5 months. So if builders were overbuilding and we had a ton of new construction right now and housing demand was decreasing, this number would be increasing greatly because builders would be building houses, but they wouldn't be selling them. So have a look at this, because right now we have 2.5 months. Again, a more balanced real estate market is 4 to 6 months. And we haven't seen levels this low Besides October, we also had 2.5 months. We haven't seen numbers this low all year. Compared to 2020, that was 3.6 months. In 2021, 3.3 months. So we're at very low levels compared to 2020 and also last year as well. However, this is a very important number to track, because if this number starts increasing, that would imply that builders have houses that are completed that they're not able to sell, maybe because home prices are too high or home buyer demand is decreasing. On the other hand, if this number continues to decrease, that would tell me that builders are building houses, they're being completed, but they're being sold. So we'll have to keep a watchful eye on this. I'll definitely keep you posted regarding this. This is a super crucial number to have a look at during this time when a lot of builders are facing a lot of headwinds right now. All right, so comment below if you have any questions regarding that. But let's have a look at home prices for brand new houses. So this is the median sales price for brand new houses in the US. So in January 2020, the median sold price was $423,300. This is not far off from the all-time record highs we had in October of last year of $427,000. Also a big increase compared to last month as well. And also a big increase when you look at annual figures. Look at 2020. $336,900 compared to $423,000 now. And also for the entire year of 2021, $397,000. Now we're at $423,000. So just goes to show how home prices right now are at very elevated levels. In my opinion, getting an offer accepted or putting a deposit down on a dirt lot is very, very risky, because mortgage rates have been increasing. If you missed my previous video, take a look at that one, because I went over detail regarding that. So here's something also I want to point out to you guys. So here are houses that actually sold by price range. And I talk about that on the channel all the time with a lack of affordability right now, because we have a lack of houses that are in the more affordable range, but also because mortgage rates have been increasing greatly as well. But have a look at this, because this is pretty amazing here. So this is a percent distribution of home sales in the US by price range. So these Z, by the way, if you see, there's a Z right here. This Z right here means that there was less than 500 units, or less than 0.5% of the new home sales. So have a look at this. So in the price range of 150 to basically 200,000, back in 2020, we had about 6% of all the sales were in that price range. Compared to January 2022, only 1%. That's pretty crazy. And in a span of 2 years, we went from 6% down to 1%. In addition, for the price range of 200,000 to 300,000, in 2020, it was 31% of all new home sales were in that price range. Now it's only 8%. When you have a look at the more luxury market, or the more expensive houses, in the price range of 500,000 to 750, back in 2020, it was 13%. Now it's more than double that amount at 29%. In addition, for houses that sold over 750,000, that makes up 10% of all the new home sales in January 2022, compared to only 5% in 2020. So it just goes to show how we have high demand for houses in the more luxury market, and we're seeing a lot more of those home sales. All right, changing gears slightly, let's talk about new housing inventory by construction stage. So this is the number of houses for sale as of the end of the period. So again, we had about 406,000 houses on a seasonally adjusted rate in January of 2022. That made up houses that are not yet started, under construction, and also completed houses. So not yet started, we had 106,000 houses that were for sale. But this number here includes those where the permits are pulled, but the new home builder has not started construction. So I really don't look at this column really much at all, because it's hard to know, are these 106,000, are these houses that are actually for sale, or are they really not, because builders have opted not to start construction. Instead, in my opinion, it's much better to look at under construction, and also more importantly, completed, to kind of gauge about what's going on with the housing market. So the number of houses that are for sale that are actually under construction is 263,000. That's much higher than January of 2021. We had 187,000. Another thing that makes it really challenging to kind of figure out what's going on here is that some new home builders sell their houses when they are just dirt lots. Some home builders right now are selling it when it's under construction, and others are selling it when the house is completed or when it's very close to being completed. So it's kind of hard to gauge what's really going on when looking at this column as well. So in my opinion, this is a very, very important stat to track, because if this number increases, that shows us that, hey, home buyers are building their houses, but they're still staying in the market, and so home buyer demand may be decreasing. But have a look at this, because for January 2022, 37,000 houses were completed, but they were still for sale. And this is the highest numbers we've seen since February of 2021. So what I'm going to be reporting to you guys, and also tracking this on a monthly basis as well, is because I want to see, does this number decrease, which would imply that builders are building houses, but they're selling? Or does this number increase, and that means that builders are building houses, but they're not selling, and so that would imply that home buyer demand is decreasing. So that's my takeaway from today's video. What are you seeing when looking at all these stats here? Also, if you got any value out of this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, have an awesome day. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.